the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real myself. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real myself. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help.
Money, money, money. That's all you
There's nothing wrong with being wealthy.
I know he
Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. You don't like money so much, why do you get up and go to work? Yes, I do think about all the things that my dick have to say. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for my money. It's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. A. Cortez.
Good morning, Black World, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be coming to you live and direct from the Yarima Karama.com studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you are not familiar with hip hop artist, activist, speaker, author, motivational coach Yarima Karama, you need to get familiar with the good brother. Go to www.yarimakarama.com to learn all that this brother has to bring to the table. Dude is just flat out amazing and what he does and how he does it, and has a real passion and a strong heart for our community, and is not a problem-focused guy. He is a solutions-focused guy, and that's what I love about him. So do me a huge favor, if you're checking this out on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and make sure when the stream is over, you copy the link to today's show, you share it on your favorite social media timeline, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, wherever it is you like to share stuff, share this show as well. And for you guys on Facebook, do the same thing for me. Go ahead and hit the share button right now. And then also, it is quite all right if you give me some likes, hearts, thumbs up, and all that kind of stuff, because I know you appreciate me because you're here every day, but that means something in the eyes of Facebook. The more likes, hearts, and engagement we get with the show, the more they push it out in front of more and more people. And guess what? We can't compete with the ratchetness out there unless you guys are engaging with good quality shows and good positive material like this. For those of you who are new to the show, never seen the show before, I'd like to let you know exactly who this show is for. This show is for risers and grinders only. Yes, you got to be ready to get up and get out and get something. If that's you, this is your show. This show is for legacy builders alone, man. If you like me, every night I lay down, I think to myself, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do next week, next month, next year, the next 5 years, 10 years, to make sure that my children's are proud to bear my last name? If that's you, this is your show. On the other hand, who is the show not for? The show is not for the bump on the log. It's not for the eternal pessimist. It's not for the finger pointers. See, if you're that type of person who's got a problem for every solution, then I have to politely ask you to leave my stream. Yeah, see, we are solutions oriented here, and we have a very low tolerance for negativity. And so if you're that negative person, then miss me with all that, man. Go chill out on somebody else's stream. But if you want to bring some positive commentary to the stream, then we welcome you, even if your views are different than ours. See, there's nothing wrong with a healthy debate, right? But if that's not what you're here for, and you're not here in a supportive role, then please exit stage left. And like I tell you each and every morning, man, I don't have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. That's your prerogative. You can be content and satisfied with where you are. But I do have a problem with you if you have a problem with me wanting to be wealthy. Don't judge me or badmouth me because I want to be wealthy and you don't agree with someone going after wealth. That's when I have a problem with you. Otherwise, we cool, man. You content where you are. I'm happy in pursuing my dreams and goals, and we could be friends forever. And like I tell you each and every morning, if you've never seen a future billionaire before, and yes, that's billion with a B, and I'm bold enough to not only proclaim it, I done put a date on that thing. December 31st, 2027. Your man will be a billionaire by then or sooner, and you can get in the game with me, or you can sit on the sideline and watch me. Makes no never mind. The choice is yours. Today's show is also brought to you by the Black Wealth Movement. If you are serious about trying to figure out how to build some generational wealth, and you know you got the discipline, you know you got the desire, but maybe you lack a game plan, maybe you need some assistance, a coach, a mentor, a community of people to help you get it done, that's what the Black Wealth Movement is all about. We have a system that will help you minimize your taxes, eliminate your debt, free up the cash you need to start investing, and then we provide you with some perspective and some knowledge about how investments work so you can start building generational wealth. All you got to do is plug in. Text Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. Again, text Black Wealth Movement, if you're serious, to 314-874-6887. 8-7, and I'll get you all the information that you need to make an informed decision. So let's get on with it and let's get to it. Man, excited to bring this brother on again. Serious cat, man, that I've been watching for the last couple years, and consistent as all get out, man. Not only consistent with being before our people and trying to teach, educate, and train, but consistent in his message. It's Black power, it's Black economic empowerment. It is each one teach one. It is brothers need to stand up and protect our sisters. It is sisters need to stand up and support our brothers. It is parents together collectively need to be raising our babies. And we're going to get into a lot of that so that we can overcome the issues that we have internally, so we can turn and direct our efforts on fighting this machine that we know as white supremacy and racism. So it gives me a great deal of honor to present to some and introduce to others my brother from another mother, Mr. Yarima Karama. Let me get you off mute, brother, and you tell me how you doing this morning, brother.
Peace, family, man. It's good to be here, brother.
I appreciate it.
I'm feeling great. Hey, brother, let me say this. First of all, you know, one thing I love about powerful brothers, man, is when powerful brothers link up. I love you, brother. I love you for the work that you're doing in our community. I mean, you give a lot of props. You opened up the door, but just having people on your platform to share, to interview, brother, I love you and I love the work that you're doing. And it's imperative upon us to help you continue to move forward, because you've given out information to us that can literally be life-changing information. And I think our brothers and sisters out there have to recognize that. So I got to give a salute back to you, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. And for me, man, it's time out for competition, man. And I got a shirt in my t-shirt series that says collaboration over competition. And that's what I'm all about, man. We got to start collaborating more and competing less. And that's what's going to transform our communities, because you guys know that Napoleon Hill writes in his book, Think and Grow Rich, about the mastermind principle. See, and I like to take it biblically myself as a Christian man. If one could put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight. And the reason that happens is because one man comes together with another man, and they both have their individual brains, but just because the way the universe works and the synergy and all of that stuff comes together, they create a third brain called a mastermind, and we can do a lot more when we collectively use that mastermind. So I'm all about collaboration, brother. So I love connecting with powerful people like you. So do me a favor, tell everybody who you are, and give us your bio, your story, and all that good stuff. We're back. I just froze up a little bit. It might do this from time to time. But go ahead and give everybody your story, man. Let us know who Yarima Karama is, man. And let's get into a healthy dialogue that can hopefully inspire, uplift, and motivate our people.
Well, you know, I'm a brother, man, that's, you know, that obviously I'm passionate about Black empowerment, Black wealth building, and just overall from building in the unification, building upon our unification from where we came to where we are today. And my story is, was a military kid. My stepfather came into my mother's life about when I was like 4 years old. So it was basically there when I was a young guy. Moved all over Germany, Japan, Hawaii. I grew up quite a few years in Honolulu, Hawaii. Came back to the States, but I had a very abusive stepfather, and left home when I was 14. Always loved school, but when I left home, I actually excelled more in school than when I was in the home.
Wow.
Just because of the abuse and that sort of thing. And then got off into some debauchery as a young man. Got off into the drug trade. Did my first prison bid. I did a year, and it was a year, but it wasn't really extensive enough for me to learn a lesson, but it was extensive enough for me to know that I did not want to go back. And then got into a relationship. I got out, started working, started going back to school, and had actually, I left home at 14, got a scholarship, academic scholarship to college, to the U of M, and ended up transferring to Augsburg College in Minnesota, Minneapolis. So for those out there from the Minneapolis area, I lived up there for years as well.
Gotcha.
And got involved with this lady. I shouldn't have gotten married, but it takes two to tango. Don't want to go too much into that story. Let's just say it didn't work out for the best. And she basically ended up setting me up. And I was not, at that time, I was not involved in any street level drug stuff, none of that. She set me up, went to trial, or got arrested, went to trial, and the all-white jury banged me out with a guilty verdict. And at the time, because of the federal sentencing guidelines, they required that I do 26 years, 10 months in federal prison.
Wow.
And so I went in, my whole thing was that, as soon as you go into the system, they want you to start working. It's definitely a slave system from the time you touch down in Oklahoma, which is their, Oklahoma City, which is their hub. It's literally like walking into an auction, like our ancestors did.
Wow.
You got brothers and sisters on a wall, lined up, shackled, and they basically the same things that we see in movies, the same thing that we see where they're checking you inside your mouth, behind your ears, all of that, having you bend over, check your rectum. They do all of that, and so it's the slave system all over. And so I went in determined that I was going to beat this case, and eventually the Supreme Court came out with the law. I was able to give 5 years back, so now I was down to 21 years, 10 months, and that whole time, just the universe put great people in my path, great men, who just really fed me, and I'm talking fed knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and gave me books. I always was a guy that liked to read anyway. I love to read. Reading was one of my escapes, and I was always an artist. I've been writing poetry and rhymes since I was like 8 years old. As soon as I could start formulating words properly and putting them together, I was writing. And so when they were giving me these books, Autobiography of Assata Shakur, J.A. Rogers, A Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams, How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Soledad Brother, all these books with George Jackson and the Black Panther movement, Marcus Mozart Garvey, and just a whole list of other books. As a matter of fact, I actually had a book series that I was doing where I was giving all the books that I've read and the books that that brothers and sisters out there, if they want to get their children involved in reading These are, I gave a list of books, so you can find that on a couple of my YouTube videos.
Gotcha.
But,
Gotcha.
you know, I was doing that time. They transferred me all over the country because I was bucking.
Right. Right.
Constantly filing paperwork on them.
Right.
You see my attitude out here, so it wasn't a give. I let them know I'm not going to work.
Right. Right.
And so they would throw me in the hole. I did a lot of time in the hole, which they call solitary confinement, but or segregated housing unit. But I did a lot of time there. And then when they found out that the hole didn't really bother me, they were like, okay, look, we're going to give you this 15-minute job, just, you know, because we need space in the hole.
Right.
People out here is getting stabbed, they fighting, we can't have you in the hole.
Right.
We
Right.
need the hole for them. And so, but what you come to find out is that brothers, man, and it wasn't just brothers, but because we are the majority in those institutions, what I came to find out is that brothers really couldn't stand the quiet. It would really do something to them being in quiet spaces.
Yeah.
And so it would like drive them. They couldn't deal with the whole. They had to be around some noise.
Right.
I was just the opposite. I loved it.
Yeah.
And so once they started figuring out that this ain't working, this isn't, and their whole motto is to break you. And so once they figured out that this isn't working, then it was kind of like, I always tell people, my first 3 years, I did 19 years, 2 months in federal prison.
Okay.
My first 3 years was my crying moments, my what happened, my you know, if I had did this, if I had did that. But then my next 16 years, man, really became my university, and I did everything that I could. And I honestly never thought, to be honest with you, I never thought I was going to make it out, because as a young man going in, you can't see the end.
Right.
You see what you're going through, but you never see the end. So
Absolutely.
I made it my university because I said, in the event that I do get out, just in the event that I make it out, I need to have something to give back.
That's powerful.
I need to be a voice. I need to be a voice for the brothers and sisters that get left behind, because it really is a system where it's out of sight, out of mind, and we as a community don't support brothers and sisters enough who were locked up. And so got out in 2012, and I started pushing.
Gotcha.
I wrote a plan, and this is what I tell people too. The reason that you have to have a plan for your life. I think that you literally have to have a plan for anything.
Yeah.
Not just coming out of prison. I think if the wife is pregnant or your girl is pregnant, you need to have a plan.
Absolutely.
How this is going to work out. You need to have a plan what you're going to do. You need to have a plan what your daily activities are going to do, because I think that that's the roadmap for our lives. And it's not enough just to say it, because we say a lot of stuff that we don't follow through with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what I did is 5 years before I got out, I actually started writing out the plan. What I was going to do, how I was going to do it, the length of time it was going to take me to do it. I even wrote out the plan to the type of woman that I wanted. It was that serious.
Nice.
Like, she's got to have these qualities. She's got to be bringing this to the table. This is what I'm bringing to the table.
Right.
This is what she needs to look like. This.
Right.
Because I would wake up to her. And see, with the plan, we keep it real with ourselves. And so I wrote out the plan. I sent the plan home. And the reason we write out the plan is because, like I said, when you talk it's just talk. When you write it out, you start to map it out. It starts to, and then you meditate on it. It's like a vision board.
Absolutely.
And then you start to bring it into fruition, the things that you want to do. And so I followed that. That became my roadmap.
Gotcha.
When I got out in 2012, I followed that plan.
Good deal. So you said something that made a whole lot of sense, and I realized the society that we are in, and I would employ any brother. You said brothers don't like the quiet time, and you are so right, because I went through that as a young man. There was a time in my life that I didn't want to be by myself, because I suffered abuse as a young man. I didn't want to whenever you're in that quiet space, then you relive a lot of that stuff. So I had to constantly be moving, constantly on the go, constantly, you know, around people and things of that nature. But what you find though is if that becomes your life's habit and you never take time to learn how to sit still and meditate, you never hear the voice of God. See, the voice of God is ever present, but it's a little quiet, still voice. And it never gets louder. The volume never goes up. In order for you to hear it, you have to tone everything else down, but it's always there like a homing beaker. So I tell people you have to, you know, find time every day to get still. And if you get still enough, you make that your practice. It's not a matter of the ohms and all of that kind of stuff when it comes to meditating. No, just turn the TVs off. Turn the AC units, the heating, because you can hear my heat on now. Turn that stuff off. It gets eerily quiet. And then sit there for as long as you can and see what kind of thoughts start to come. And some of those thoughts are of yourself, but many of those thoughts and intuitions are of the Most High. And that's where you get direction and guidance from. So, brothers, if you're out there, man, it's cool to run with your packs. But even when you're running with your packs, make sure you have time to run with the pack and sit down and listen and hear from the Most High. Brother, 19 years, 2 months. You get out and you say, you know what? I got this plan. I love the written plan so you can execute, so you can see it. And then you sent it home, meaning you sent it to somebody who had the plan and could hold you accountable. Touch on the fact that we all need accountability partners and people that you trust. You can give them your plan. Hey, this is what I want to do. Not that they're going to judge you or not that they're going to steal your plan and run with it and try to execute it themselves, but somebody to hold you accountable. How did that work out with the people you sent the plan to? And did they hold your feet to the fire when you got out and start trying to execute?
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because I think a lot of brothers have this experience coming home. It's the trust factor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's more of a matter of they hold you accountable, but let you have to show.
Yeah.
You can't. Okay, you didn't told me what you want to do. I see this,
Mm-hmm.
but I gotta see you implement. I gotta see you execute.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other thing is the plan changes,
Mm-hmm.
but the goal doesn't.
Right. Right.
So I tell people all the time, especially when I talk to our young people, write out the plan, but you got plan A, B, C through Z.
Mm-hmm.
Because if plan A, it probably is gonna fail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's hope that it doesn't. But if
Right.
it does, a lot of times we give up.
Right.
We go to one bank in the city and apply for a loan, and then they deny us and, oh, I'm done. Well, there's
Mm-hmm.
1,000 banks throughout the state. You need
Right.
to try every last one until you get told yes.
Right.
And so it's the same thing with the plan. You understand that the plan failed. So in my situation, coming out the door, the plan changed
Mm-hmm.
automatically. From the point that I thought I was going to be taking the bus home to the point where my guy sent a plane ticket for me to fly.
Gotcha.
And then I went to a whole different state.
Wow.
I'm supposed to be going to one state, Ohio. I ended up going back home to New York
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of days.
Gotcha.
So the plan changed, but the goal doesn't.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I tell people it's the same thing. You're going to work in the morning. The goal, you got to make it to work by 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8:35. There's an accident on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take a detour. Now,
Right.
the plan didn't change, but the goal is still the same. You still got to be to work by 9 a.m.
Absolutely.
And so,
Absolutely.
The plan changed automatically, but my goal did.
Mhm.
And then I noticed that when I got home, you know, I hadn't been home since I was, or at least with my mother, since I left home at 14.
Oh,
And
wow.
So we had a lot of growing to do.
Mm-hmm.
We had
I
a
can
lot of
imagine.
catching up. And mom she definitely will hold one accountable, but her thing is I gotta see it.
Mhm.
I know what you got
Mhm.
on paper, but that doesn't mean anything. Your actions and deeds speak louder than
Right.
what I'm seeing on paper.
Right.
And so then once she saw that I was doing it,
Mhm.
once she saw that I was steadfast
Mm-hmm.
in what I was doing, and this was after I had moved out. Once she saw, she was really supportive from that point on. But family has to see it too.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of hurt and pain in family related, in the familial structure as well.
Mhm.
So, you know, our families have to see it, and a lot of times, you know, they only give you a short grace period.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, you become another. You're getting home. So then the difficulty in finding work, the difficulty in you know, especially for guys that are away for a long period of time, you have to reacclimate literally to society. And then if you've missed certain aspects of it, then you have to catch up on that or learn that.
Right.
And so it was a lot of transitional things that I had to go through. And sometimes families give you that grace period because they still got to pay bills.
Yeah.
You become another weight for them. So it's like, bro, you know, the 2 weeks now, yeah, we need to, you know, talk about this food bill. You become another.
Right. And I get it, and that's understandable. So your brothers, if you're dealing with that and you're just home, just understand that you're gonna have to show and prove. And as horrific as it may sound, or as judgmental as it may sound, or as unfair as it may sound, you may have to show and prove and be expected to show and prove more than anybody else. Your leash will be a lot shorter than anybody else's. So you can't have that immediate snafu soon as you get home and you say, yeah, I want to live right. And 2 days in, you coming in at 3 or 4 in the morning because your boys had you out all night. One of the things that I see a lot, and it contributes to the recidivism rate, is brothers will go away and they will lose that time, but then they will come back and try to start their life where they left off. So if you go away at 17, you go away 10 years, you come back at 27, a lot of those brothers come back and start picking up their life as if they are 17. And now they're back in running with kids and doing the same. It's like, no, unfortunately, brother, unfortunately, sister, you missed that. Here's what 27-year-olds are doing. Here's the expectation of you, and you're being held to a higher standard. And I hate that you missed it, but you did. But I see so many brothers fall right back, and it's like, man, they picking their life up where they were when they were 17, 18, or whatever they were, whatever age they were when they left, and that's causing some issues. But you talked about the difficulty of finding jobs, so I want to transition to some more solution-oriented stuff, because I see that you have your online stores and all that stuff. Would you talk to brothers about how it might just be easier for you to go the entrepreneurial route when you get out, when you have that record, when no one wants to deal with you, and the people who do want to deal with you want to hold their foot on your neck, minimum wages, and all that kind of stuff? You might want to take some of those gifts and talents, man, and just go the entrepreneurship route. Would that be fair to say? It might be a little bit better and the easier road to track than going through what you have to go through to find work as a felon?
Absolutely. But are you? The thing is, what, and this is where the plan comes in. This is where, look, Cortez. There's a spiritual aspect to this that's very important. When you talk about the getting quiet, one thing I realized is that immediately the universe started opening doors for me. I immediately started performing. Like, it was almost as soon as I stepped out, it was immediate. And that was a door, because that's what I was pursuing. So the universe was kind of like, call it God, the universe, Yahweh, Jehovah, but it was kind of like, okay, you're pursuing it. This is what you want. This is what you asked for. This was part of your plan. I'm going to open that door for you. And so I even was, I worked, got employed, even got into the corporate establishment. The problem was that it wasn't, one thing that was a deterrent for me was that doing this, and you know how I get down on my stream.
Right. Absolutely.
Doing this was not conducive with the corporate structure. And because people would be coming back, oh, did you see this guy's video? He's and so, and then it became a thing. I started doing the math. And it was like, you know what, I'm helping this company make millions of dollars. They're feeding me peanuts. I could literally do the same thing. So so that's what I did. I said, I have to start my own thing and get away from this, because I can literally, if we put our minds to it, First of all, we have to decipher what skills we have.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
and then if you don't have any skills, and this is why I say you have to be honest with yourself. When I went through and did my plan, I was totally honest with myself. And so people have to be honest. If you have that time in the prison industrial complex, you got time if you don't have the skill to get it.
Right.
As I've seen
Absolutely.
others do.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
this is where it comes to. I would tell anybody coming out of prison, it's necessary for you to have an entrepreneurial skill that you can take to the table.
Yeah.
Because we have to get out of the excuses. We have to get out of the excuses, and the reality for me was, especially with all the studying that I had done, is that I'm not gonna beg, man. I'm not gonna beg because, and then well, the white man won't give me a job. No, I gotta make a way. I gotta make a way. The time, and if I have a skill that I can provide, I got two businesses. I got a cleaning company and I got my mentorship.
Right.
Now I was in corporate doing FMLA, family medical leave, and that sort of thing. And I was also over a bunch of cleaning projects inside the state of Ohio.
Right.
I got the skill. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I can do this myself.
Yeah.
I went in my LLC, started my company, and my mentoring service. I actually started that before I even started my cleaning business.
Right.
And I was just like, even though I'm employable, I can do this myself.
Right.
I can do this, and I've always been an independent spirit anyway. So I've never been one that wants to rely on somebody else for my salvation.
Right.
And so I would tell brothers coming out, you have to have that, especially in this economic climate. It's imperative.
Yeah, and you think about 80% or so of the prisoners are coming out of the drug trade because of the phony drug wars. So they're entrepreneurs anyway. You take that entrepreneurial spirit, which got perverted in you as a young man. Same thing happened to me. My crew in 5th, 6th grade and things of that nature, we would find ways to make money. And when the older gentlemen in the hood, the OGs or whatever you want to call them, they see that in you and say, man, them little cats be flat out hustling. And then they say, come here, young man, let me talk to you about making. So we were pumping gas for change. So, because all we want to do is go play video games. But they saw the hustle and said, wait a minute, if I can get you to deliver this package and you're used to getting 50 cents and I give you $5 off a $5,000 run, you're going to be on top of the world. And they pervert that. So I think as entrepreneurs now, we see that happening. We have a duty to go back to our communities and be a second option for those young hustlers that we see who are cutting grass. They got their paper routes on, they're pumping gas, they're cleaning basements and garages or whatever. We've got to be able to say to those young brothers, hey, somebody is going to put a bug in your ear to try to lead you a wrong way. Let me show you how to set up your fan page so you can get a few more customers and make a few more dollars. Let me show you how to set up your Instagram. Let me show you how to do a little video commercial, and let's keep you doing what you're doing so you can stay on the legit path. Let me show you how you can hire your buddies and have them do all the work, and you make $10 off each one of them, but you're not cutting the grass anymore. So we've got to be better as men at really intercepting, and some of them you can't. Some of them come from families where that's just the trade of the family and it's hard to break them. But some of those are like me. My mom was on welfare and we probably had some like $600 per month cash coming in plus the food stamps, and she had 6 children. And when I tell you, bro, as honest as I can, I never felt like I needed anything. Shoes raggedy, tired, house rats, roaches, all that stuff. But because of the love and because of the mental state that she kept us in, optimistic outlook on life, none of that stuff never really mattered. So I never felt like I needed to sell drugs I always wanted to sell drugs because of the respect. And so you got a lot of brothers out there who a man could have come in my life and said, bro, that ain't you. You're smart.
I had two separate plans. I had one for my personal life, and then I had my blueprint for saving our youth.
Okay.
And I went and sat down after I got settled. Now I'm working. Have my job. I'm actually in the midst of recording my first CD, my Testament Volume 1. I went and sat down with the Queen, and we're going over my blueprint. And she had some connections to get me into the Columbus Public Schools. And so I went over my blueprint, basically, you know, things as simple as that, things that we might not look at. How do you transition from boyhood to manhood? What does that look like? What does manhood look like to you? How do you transition from girlhood to womanhood? What does that look like? The prison industrial complex. This is what they have planned for you if you don't have a plan for yourself.
Right.
You know, great people in history that you might want to consider emulating or at least reading their story. The importance of words and how it affects us, how our bodies are 2/3 water, and if somebody is constantly pouring negativity into you, what does that do? And then what happens if they're pouring positivity into you?
Right.
And so one of my things that I do when I go in, and so I started my company, and then I was actually able to start going into, you know, some schools. And one of the things that the children found profound is I would always set up, if I was doing 2 and 3 day seminars, workshops, I would set up 2 glasses of half-filled water, one on each end of a table. And I would tell them every day when we come in here, you're going to cuss this glass out over here on the left and this glass over here on the right. You're going to tell it how beautiful it is, how much it quenches your thirst. But this glass over here, you're going to tell it off. You're going to give it the business. And after 3 days, they were literally able to see how the glass that they had been cussing out every day when they came in, every break, how it was, the water was like murky. Very difficult to see through. But the glass that they had told how much they loved it, it was very clear.
Wow.
Almost sparkling. And they were able to see that. And I'm like, so you're able to see this. I said, now think about the communities which you live in. Now, if our bodies are 2/3 water and somebody is constantly cussing you out, or somebody is constantly telling you you're never going to be nothing, or somebody is constantly putting negative words into your system and you accept it, this is what that's doing to your body, like this murky glass.
Wow.
But if somebody is constantly telling you that they love you, that you can be the greatest, all you have to do is put your mind to it, that they value your existence on this planet, this is what your internal self can look like.
Yeah.
Now, which one do you want to be? And so I would go in, and what I found is that a lot of the administrations were very receptive to that information. And then I do after school reading programs too.
Gotcha.
The problem is that they scream that they don't have money. And what you come to find out is that they really don't value our children the way that they should. And so this is why I push so hard.
Right.
Because I know you have the money. I know you have the budget. I've sat back and talked to the people behind the scenes. So I know it's there. You just don't want to give it out.
Morning, Veronica.
So,
good deal.
Our children, the importance of the after-school reading programs and that, you know, especially when they have already said that if children, particularly melanated children, can't read by 3rd grade, they're preparing a bed in prison for them already. Yeah. And so I push the reading program so intensely, and I'm honest with the students. I tell them that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Preparing for your demise.
Yeah, I love that water study, man. I've seen Dr. Emoto do that with rice in the jar, and it's amazing how it just, we got to get that, and a lot of people don't realize that our words are vibrations, and those vibrations have negative and positive effects. And so all of that is critically important. So really quickly, I got to do my quote of the day, guys. This quote of the day says this, man. Billionaires don't ask for more info. They read company profiles and financial statements. I want to say that again because some of you guys love to comment more info and not do your own research. Billionaires don't ask for more info. They read company profiles and financial statements, and that's all they need to make a decision on whether or not this is a good investment. This is something that I should be able to get into. I get it all the time. I say people comment more information. I say call me, and I put my phone number down and crickets, right? So it's like, you ain't ready because I'm giving you the permission to call you. Why would you want me to text you something when we can talk? Right. So that quote of the day comes from theblackbillionairesclub.com. My man ERGJ, Evan Jefferson of ERGJ Enterprises, man. If you have not gotten the book, The Black Billionaires, I don't know if I can put my hands on it right now. It's there somewhere. If you have not gotten your hands on that book, man, you want to make sure you go to theblackbillionairesclub.com and pick up a copy of that book. He's always giving away something free. I think this month at this time, he's giving away a free cryptocurrency class if you purchase the book. So theblackbillionairesclub.com is where you can get that. Connect with my man, Evan Jefferson, ERGJ Enterprises. Billionaires don't ask for more info. They read company profiles and financial statements. So I love what you're doing in the schools, man. And you're right. That reading program is so important to get kids to understand. And here's my take on that. I believe that until we put our children in the environment where they can see the absolute necessity for proficient reading, they don't take interest. Right? Until you can put a child in an environment where they see the absolute necessity for math and science, they're not interested, and you only learn from the things that you are interested in. So I would like to take a whole different approach to school and raising children and getting them to explore their intellect. First of all, stop putting them in the box when they're 5 years old, when they have exploratory sense. Let them continue to explore. And the things they take interest in because they explore, then you can say, I notice how you are looking at that machinery. And I see that you like the way this truck behaves and the things that it could do. Well, guess what? In order for you to build something like that, you're going to need this particular set of skills. And the kid's going to say, oh, so I need to know geometry. I need to know algebra. I need to know how to read. I need to know how to construct and read blueprints to make this happen. Now it's easier to teach them those things because they have an interest in using the education that we're giving them. See, when you're telling a kid they need to know algebra and they can't fathom any use on the planet for algebra, they're going to reject that teaching. And why do those science kids and what we call, quote, nerds, why do they get it? Because they're dreaming of building spaceships. So they know they're going to need algebra, and it becomes important to them to learn. But a brother like me, dude, I'm not using this formula ever in my life, so I'm not trying to learn it. So we got to rethink the approach to educating our children. Brother, I got two questions for you now. We're wrapping, getting down. Man, let me check the official time, man. Time is flying. So we at 7:50, man. So this is the My Brother's Keeper speaker series, and it is for, I bring people on who are doing amazing things in business, which you are. Two companies, a mentoring company and a cleaning company. People who are doing amazing things in the community. I don't think we can find anybody doing more amazing things in the community than you're doing. But then also brothers who are serious and willing to give back to brother. See, there's tons and tons and tons of people that I can get on this show that are doing amazing things in business. They take some of the money from business. They're supporting programs, doing amazing things, but they're not necessarily willing to give back and teach others how to do it. That's why it's called My Brother's Keepers speaker series, because I'm looking for brothers who want to keep their other brothers. So let's talk to young men, that very vulnerable age, 16, 17, 18 years old, and life is really starting to happen. It's starting to speed up for them. What could you say to a young man in that position to help keep him on the straight and narrow, help develop that plan that you talk about that's so necessary. What would you say to a brother like that? Give me about 2 minutes because I got a couple follow-ups to that.
I would say they have to first recognize that they are in the matrix. You have to maneuver within the matrix now that you're in it. So again, the importance of the plan. I got a program, acronym called PLEAS, PLEES, and it stands for politics, black politics, land, economics, education, and spirituality. I would tell any young brother, this should be our focus right now. Why don't we, first of all, what is your gift? And anytime I step into a classroom and talk to our young people, I ask them, what is your gift? What is it what is it that you love? Gift or passion, but particularly your gift. And I say, why don't you want to be in politics? Why don't we have a black political party? Why are we counting on the Democrats and Republicans? History has shown that they haven't done anything for us in our best interest. So why don't we have a black political party? Land, important, it's tangible. What are you doing about that? Economics. Your economic foundation can get you land. Your economic foundation can keep your family structure intact. Education, the importance. You have to be educated, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a European educational system. We practice education differently if you study the meta-neta, and I tell our young people, focus on that. And I think you just alluded to it, Cortez. Focus on that which is your gift. If you want to be into machines, then you know that you need the geometry, you know that you need the math, you know that you need to know how to read blueprints. Then all the other stuff, not saying just throw that to the side, but physical education might not be as important to you.
Right. Absolutely.
Scientific or history might not be as important to you. Not that you should overlook that, but your main focus, and this is where it comes down to the parent. And then also the key is spirituality. Spirituality plays a big role in this. We have to pull back and really focus on our internal spiritual selves. And so it's imperative because our young people are being bombarded with all kinds of information. And really, if they're 16, 17 at this point, if they're taking their time out to even listen to feeds like this, then there's still some hope. But I would also say that if you're at this point in the game as a parent, there's a lot that you've missed. You should have started a lot earlier. You should have actually started while that child is in the womb, because we're literally in a war here for our very lives and the lives of our children.
Yeah, I think the spiritual part is another key component as to why black kids can't learn at the optimal level in a white-led, white, female-dominated classroom, is because there is no spiritual connection, and we are a spiritual people by nature. And when our kids cannot connect, and the funny thing is, when our kids can't connect, our kids get the blame and not the teacher. See, they never say the teacher can't teach. They say there's something wrong with that child where he can't learn, right? Where in fact, 50% of the kids in that classroom is struggling. The other 50%, half of them are getting good grades just because they're well behaved, not because they're learning.
Thank you.
But they don't say that teacher can't teach. They say there's something wrong with that student or something wrong with those kids. And especially when we talk about our black men children, you have to think about this. And I know most mainstream people don't think about this, but if I'm a white middle class woman teaching a classroom, 50% students are black, that means 25% of those students are black men. I have a white male child at home myself. That means I am responsible for training up his competition. How seriously concerned am I about making sure that your child is going to be able to outcompete my child?
this is for students. So sometimes when I go into a school to do a 3-day workshop, sometimes they're 4 to 6 weeks, but usually they're 3 days. And when I do that, I also do a leadership program for the teachers. And the reason why is because what you just alluded to. I tell them just because you have a degree in teaching doesn't mean that you can teach. The dissemination of information and the receiver of that information, they have to both coincide.
They have to match.
So then there's different dynamics too. If you're coming from the suburbs into an urban area, you're dealing with a whole different animal. And so our children, I got a program called LAT. LAT, and that's love, attention, and time. If you're not giving our children this, and there's a ratio of a classroom, 1 teacher to 30 students, you have to look at the fact, how are you dividing your time amongst those 30? And that's a problem. That's a problem because our children are coming from traumatized conditions. They might just have heard gunshots the night before. Now, you might say, oh, it's just gunshots. But those suburban kids aren't hearing gunshots like our children hearing gunshots.
Absolutely.
They might have had to walk through broken glass, or might be in a dysfunctional familial situation at home. And so they're bringing that stress and all of that to the school with them. So if you're coming from a suburban area, you cannot teach our children the same as you would do out there because it's a different climate.
Absolutely.
And I have to go through these leadership programs with them because it's just like you said, Cortez. They'll just throw our children to the wolves. I've actually sat in schools where the white teaching establishment, they just let the children. Either it's no discipline whatsoever. They just let them do whatever, or it's over discipline, where they're constantly, it becomes an aggressive type. And I'm like, that's not.
That doesn't work. It's funny that you say that. My son played with a football coach that I love to this day, Coach Nunu Washington. Carl Nunu Washington, if you watching this, I love you, bro. Now, my son started with this guy at 7 years old. Now, imagine a Christian man, son playing football, and this guy cusses like a sailor. So everybody's asking me, how as a Christian can you let your son play for this coach who does all this cussing and fussing? I said, first of all, it's because I know the difference between a cuss word and a curse word. See, he's cussing, but you calling your kid stupid, you're cursing. That's a difference. So I can deal with cussing, but I don't curse my children. I don't allow other people to curse my children. And then I talked to Coach. I said, man, Coach, you ride these players hard. And we live in the suburbs of St. Louis. He's from Deep City, grew up in the projects, all that kind of stuff. He said, you ride these. He said, Cortez, I'm going to tell you, man, my philosophy, if out here, these kids got both mom and dad in the home, they need this type of love and attention coming from a tough, hard place. But when I go down and coach in the city, I'm a completely different dude, man. I'm hugging these kids. I'm loving on them because they're not getting that at home. So I have to be different. And what you're saying in the classroom, and it has to be the same thing. I think a teacher coming from the suburbs to teach inner city kids, you might have to take the first 1/3 of the year and just love them children to death. And then the second 2/3 of the year, you're playing catch up with the curriculum and all that kind of stuff. But you've broken down those barriers. You understood the lives that they're living and the things that they're going through and the post-traumatic stress syndrome that they deal with. We're talking about kids who, like you said, not only hearing gunshots, but I'm here at school because my mom made me to come to school, but my mom brother just died. That's my favorite uncle, right? My homeboy just lost somebody. My partner just got jumped. I tell everybody, we're so quick to judge our children because the media feeds us this perception of who they think our children are, and we buy into that. And we're not willing to admit that our children are sick. And when you're dealing with a sick person, you don't treat them the same way as you deal with a well person. A person who is sick needs patience. You can't be short fused with a person who is going through stress. You have to be patient and try to get to them to unwind and all that kind of stuff. So I love that. So my follow-up is, you got black men who are, even those who have not gone to prison, man, I know a lot of them, man, who are still trying to make the dope game happen. I know a lot of them who are living off women. if that woman put them out, they literally would not have a place to stay. So they have to be in constant subjection to that lady because it's her place, right? And the reason that is because in her state, she doesn't require anything of this man other than some good loving. So he could be at home on the couch playing video games. He doesn't have to get a job. She's taking care of all this stuff, and that. So this brother has all the potential in the world. I know so many of them. It's like, dude, you're intelligent, man. You're gifted. You're creative. I mean, this brother. What do we say to that brother to get them to stand up, right?
Well, I believe that, and you know, we don't have therapy classes, you know, like in communities, you know, they have the 12-step program, they got NAAA. I was just telling some sisters recently, you all need to have your own therapy classes, just like they've created in other communities. We need to create in our own community, and the men too. The reason the women need to have those classes is because they go through a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. There's a lot of, you know, molestation that they've kept bottled up inside since they were young girls, but brothers as well, which is why I started the Unity Walk, Cortez, because I wanted people to come together in spaces to talk about these exact issues. I've been in homes where you know, and I've had to tell the mother, you're setting this child up for failure. The son is sitting there playing videos, and the daughter is at 15 going out to Wendy's to work. The 16 or 17-year-old son has got his feet kicked up playing videos, and I've told them, you're not doing this child any favors at all. My thing I would tell them is that, and it's the same thing I would tell brothers coming home, and this is just real. This is real.
Yes.
This is real.
Yeah.
No punches. If you put yourself in that situation, and this is the ultimate, if you put yourself in that situation to not have your own, you just made the woman basically the man. And she, over the course of time, is going to carry it like that. Trust and believe. And this is not anything bashing sisters.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is that a woman expects a man to be a man. And if you're not doing that, if you're sitting around, that might work. It's kind of like the guy coming home from prison. You sitting around, that might work for a few weeks. In your situation as a man living off of a woman, that might work for, you know, a few months. But at the end of the day, she's going to get to a point where I'm the man. I pay the bills. I'm on the lease. I can kick you out whenever I want. First argument or first debate or first you came home when she didn't expect, because now she might even have you on a curfew. My thing is, do you want to live like that?
Right.
And if not, you need to put yourself in a position where you are sole controller of your destiny. And that's not to say that you maybe sharing space with a woman is a bad thing,
right.
But it is to say that you should have your own. And if you don't have your own, you put yourself at a very, very a bad disadvantage in life, period, because now all the cards are in her favor. You don't even have any cards.
Yeah. And even if she loves you, she's going to ultimately begin to treat you like her child and not like her man. Yes. And I think that's a dynamic that a lot of brothers are in. And you know, we got to start talking about that kind of stuff, and we got to start having those kinds of conversations. That's something that we do with Brother Dre's and Dr. Boyce's Black Men United. We have those types of conversations amongst brothers saying, hey, we know as men we've been scarred, and we often don't talk about the psychological effect of growing up in literal war zones. We never talk about that psychological effect. And I know some of those brothers in those on those couches playing those games to escape their reality because they're battling depression, because they're psychologically wounded. But we've got to be able to create, like you said, spaces like the walk that you do to give brothers permission to be vulnerable among other brothers, where they will not be judged, but on the interim be given some help, offered some solutions, to overcome some of the trauma. But you are right. I was read a blog the other day from a man, Cool. He was talking about the fact that psychological disorders go so undiagnosed, and I'm one of them. I'm a guy who spent weeks in a psychological in a psych ward because I literally lost my mind. I was traumatized as a child, sexually molested, physically molested, and it literally traumatized me. But I'm the type of person who internalized everything. So I held it till one day I exploded, and that literally I had to go get on some meds to get myself right. And I tell everybody when I share this testimony that we in the Christian community, sometimes we like to give an honor to God. I thank you for waking me up in my right mind, right? But most of the people who said that have never not woken up outside of their right mind. I have.
God, yeah.
I have. I've woken up outside of my right mind before. So when I say, Lord, I thank you for waking me up and clothing me in my right mind, I have literally woken up outside of my right mind. And so I know that there are tons of brothers who have gone through stress. Every 14 seconds, a child is being molested. And that includes boys too, right? So I know the trauma that we go through, but we never seek help for it. And especially men, because we have this TV macho deal going on that says a man can't cry, a man has to be strong, a man has to be all of these things. And while we're trying to fulfill that, we're literally driving ourselves crazy trying to fulfill that. So, brother, it is a little after 8, man. We've gone a little bit long. So tell everybody how they can connect with you really, really quickly. And then y'all know what we do, Facebook. We're about to kill the stream. And brother Yarima and I are going to go beyond the stream, and we're going to chop it up a little bit more. But tell everybody how to get a hold of you, man.
It's Yarima Karama at or www.yarimakarama.com. You know what it is, the brand, the YK brand.
Yeah.
You can go there. You can actually go there to read my bio. You can book me for speaking engagements, performance poetry, hip hop. You can also go there to check out the store. You can also connect with me on the usual suspects: Facebook, Instagram. Actually, I'm banned from Facebook for the 30 days. Yeah, it's just a common theme now. But you can go there to check me out when I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, Periscope, Black Junction, or Us, and YouTube. And I stream on YouTube and Periscope usually just about every night, and I have a theme for each night that I do. As a matter of fact, we're going to get you on Talking to Town Tuesday, Cortez.
Absolutely.
Those are the places you can find me, and also be a part of the Unity Walk. Unity Walk is the place for us as a group of people, melanated people, to get together and talk. There's a lot of things in our communities that are going on right now, and we have to be the sole controllers of that. We can't always be looking out for somebody else to control our destinies, or always reaching out, what can you do? No, the premise now is what can we do? Mm-hmm. We're a force to be reckoned with when we come together.
Yeah.
And so be a part of the Unity Walk, which is www.theunitywalk.com. Inbox me if you want to be a coordinator of the Unity Walk, or just a participant. As a matter of fact, you can go on the site and sign up to be that. But it's important for everybody to get involved at this point. And just one quick thing, Cortez, you're not the only one that wakes up and that has woken up in that state. One of the most important things for me is people send me a lot of stuff, but I always love it when the brothers reach out. When the brothers specifically reach out and ask me questions on manhood.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
where I get my greatest joy, because I'm a man.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
And to be able to talk to them, and for them to even be able to present the question is great, and I think that's where it starts.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, did I tell you the brother was gonna bring the fire? I was a little concerned that he was going to make it so hot in here that the fiber optic cables on my internet connection was going to kill the stream a couple times. We had one little struck snafu, but we're good. So I appreciate you so much. Love everything that you're doing. Glad that I was able to connect with you. Looks like my audience is loving you as well. They're commenting and liking and hearts up and all of that good stuff. So you've been listening to and learning from Brother Yarima Karama. Go to yarimakarama.com. Learn everything that you can about this brother, how you can partner with him. Go support him. Buy his CDs, his music, his video downloads. Book him for shows. All of that good stuff, but also go to theunitywalk.com so you can learn more about how we can start to unify as a collective of melanated people on this side of the globe, so we can start transforming our communities, guys. See, I'm going to say this before we go. I was going to say this for beyond the stream, but I'm going to say this before we go. There's three things I believe, right? Number one, I believe that I am a God under the Most High God. And what that means is I have 100% control over the world that I create. And if my world is upside down, I did that. And I have to take responsibility for that. The second thing that I believe is that I can do all things with a capital A, capital L, and a capital L. So that means anything I can put my mind to, I can do. If I want to build wealth and create 1,000 accredited investors, that's what I'm going to do. The third thing that I believe, that everything the sun touches belongs to me. Now, for those who love the Bible, I would say everywhere the soles of my feet have tread has been given to me. See, I believe that God created this whole world just for me. I don't know if he created it for you. You got to talk to him about that. You talk to your creator about that. But this whole thing was created for me, and I'm going to own it, and I'm going to possess it, and I'm going to make sure that we can live the way we want to live. So the unity walk, let's come together and let's create. Let's stop complaining about the ghettos that we live in. Who told you you live in a ghetto? And then had you accept that definition as true, so that when you ride down the street, you throw a bag of trash out the car. That's why they told you it was a ghetto, so you can make it a ghetto. Let's go create what we want and take full responsibility as the gods that we are under the Most High God. Until I talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve it. Peace out, y'all. All right, bro. Stream is dead. Stream is dead. All right. So. Yeah, man. Yeah. So now let's do. I gotta hit record, but then you just do the shout out. We might have to do this a couple times. Sometimes when I hit record, it just don't act right. Sometimes.
Okay.
But let me see if. All right. So you're just gonna shout out. Hey, this is Yarima Karama. From yarimakarama.com, or whatever your brand is that you want to promote, and then just say I'm kicking it with Cortez, financial health mentor, whatever you want to say, and then just a quick little 15-second blur.
Okay. Peace, family. This is Yarima Karama. You know who I am, the Yarima Karama brand. Catch me at www.yarimakarama.com. I'm kicking it with the God himself, Cortez Springer, financial health mentor, and our brother who is giving us information constantly about getting our wealth game up, but also getting our family structure up and getting our unification up in the melanated community. Thank you, brother. We love you. Love the work that you're doing. Can't say it enough, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for that, brother Yarima. So this is what we call Beyond the Stream, man. This is where we take a little bit of a deeper dive, because this is what the people pay for. So we pull no punches. We don't play no games, man. Talk about three things that as a black nation, let me rephrase it. Talk about three things that if we are going to form a black nation, that absolutely must be done for us to pull that off.
Three things for a black nation, important. Land, economics, spirituality. And the reason reason I say land